Okay, we are live. It is Dr. Mindy Pelz here, and I'm going to talk to you guys today about a water fast. So let me start off by, I just want to welcome everybody who joined my YouTube over the last couple of days. We have had a lot of new subscribers. And so I just want to kind of give you guys just real quickly before I jump in how to do a 3 to 5 day water fast. I want to give you kind of an idea of what our channel is all about. So I look at this as this is your channel. What information do you need to succeed at keto, to succeed at fasting, to succeed at variation? So please, your comments, your questions, they're really important to us. We have a team of people looking at them, and basically how I come about all of my videos is based off of what you guys are needing. So I consider us a community, and I take your health very serious, and I want to make sure you're getting the information that you need. So yesterday we posted a video on diet variation, and how that video came about was so many people were asking for it. They wanted to know, how do you do diet variation? So please go watch that video, because varying your keto, varying your fasting is super important. So also, I just want to let you know that every Thursday I'm coming to you live. For the next couple of months, it looks like it'll be around 3 p.m. Pacific Standard. It really depends on my patient load. But for the next couple of months, we've got me scheduled at 3 o'clock on Thursdays, Pacific Standard, to come live. So join me and ask questions. Again, I want to make sure you're getting the answers that you guys are looking for. Also, be sure you turn on your notifications so that you get notified when I go live. So, okay, with all that out of the way, let's talk about how do you do a 3 to 5 day water fast. So one of the things I love doing is guiding people through my fast training week. And we've been doing it in my Resetter group on Facebook, and we're now doing it here on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching this live, our fast training week is next week, and I'm going to be teaching and guiding people through a 3 to 5 day water fast. So typically with all fast training weeks, I give people two options. So I'll give people the option of doing a water fast, because so many people love to do water fasts. But then I also give people the option to do something different. So we've done autophagy fasting, we've done fast mimicking. A lot of you guys love that. But next week, we are doing water fast, or you can do a bone broth fast. The option 2 is a bone broth fast or a Ketabo shake fast. And I'll explain what that is. So let's start off with a water fast. So if you go back and look at my variation video, I always think you should enter into every fast with a purpose. Why are you fasting? Ask yourself that. Like, what is it you're trying to achieve? So some of you are really trying to lose weight, and that's awesome. Water fasts are so good at breaking you out of those weight loss plateaus. If you follow Jason Fung's work, he is a big fan of mixing up all different types of fasts to get to that stored insulin and glucose, the fat that you stored years ago. You get it by fasting. That is a well-known fact, and so many of you are experiencing that with weight loss. Some of you are wanting to water fast because you want stem cell production. So also a really awesome reason to water fast. There's two different types of stem cell production that will happen when you water fast. The first happens at 24 hours of water fasting. This was a study done by MIT that showed at that 24-hour mark, you started to produce, or our bodies start to produce, intestinal stem cells. So those of you with any gut issues, 24 hours is awesome. Then we also know at 3 days, at that 72-hour mark of water fasting, what Valter Longo taught us is that your whole immune system will reboot, and old white blood cells will start to die off and new ones will be reborn. I have seen the miracles with 3-day water fasts. I have seen miracles with fasts that are longer. I've seen people with leukemia slow down the progression of leukemia. I've seen people with athletic injuries that just won't go away. That inflammation starts that lowering of the inflammation on a water fast will start to heal old musculoskeletal injuries. Stem cells are, the best way I can explain stem cells is we have a whole lot of them when we're little, and we don't have very many of them when we age. And so we're not repairing our tissues very well as we get older, which is why when you get a burst of stem cells, you start to repair parts of your body. Now, that means when you do a 3 to 5 day water fast, that there's oftentimes area that you will get some pain. And I have some questions from some of you guys that I'll address here in the moment, but somebody had pointed out that they actually get some kidney pain. Well, that happens as you start to do longer water fasts because those stem cells are getting in there and repairing. The other thing that we see a lot of is a lot of women get pelvic pain. Well, there can be scar tissue in the pelvic area left over from childbirth. So that might be also why some people are getting pain in certain areas. But 3 to 5 day water fasts are pretty darn cool, and there's nothing that will make you feel more pride for yourself, that will repair your health, that will move you to that next level with your health than a good old 3 to 5 day water fast. How often should you do them? I think I like to personally do a 3 to 5 day water fast 2 to 3 times a year. That's my preference. It's just a great reboot to the immune system, and you get those stem cells. So let's start with that option 1. How do you do a 3 to 5 day water fast? And then I'm going to go into option 2, bone broth fasting and the Ketabo shake. I'll go into that. So option 1, 3 to 5 day water fast. I'm going to tell you how I like to do it, and then I'll give you some variations. Personally, I like to finish my last meal on Sunday night, and then I fast all day Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday night, which is 72 hours from my meal on Sunday night, is when I will break the fast. For me, psychologically, that's the easiest because I'm just going 2 full days without food. I know a lot of resetters in our resetter group do that as well. So if you're joining us next week, that's a great way to go into a 3 day water fast. Is you finish your meal on Sunday night, you wake up Monday, and you don't eat, you're just drinking water. Tuesday, you're just drinking water. Wednesday, you're just drinking water. And then Wednesday night, you break your fast. Now, I will talk about what you break your fast with, so sit tight for a moment. Now, I know what you're thinking, a lot of you. What about coffee? So with coffee, I'm going to leave it up to you. Now, let me tell you, I've done it both ways. So sometimes I love a cup of organic coffee in the morning, and sometimes I'll go into a fast and I'll decide, you know what, I'm just going to have a half a cup. I'm not going to completely give up my coffee. And sometimes I just say, I'm totally giving up my coffee. And the reason you would want to give up your coffee for these 3 days is that there is this intelligence inside of us that will run your body and heal your body. And the more we mess with it during these fasts, the less of a result we get. So if you can just allow your body to drink water for 3 days and just kind of let the miracle, this intelligence, do its job, it will figure out how to heal you. This is why so many of you guys are getting such great results. That intelligence inside your body is smarter than all of the doctors in the world put together. And when we go and we fast, we tap into that. So I just love that about, nobody teaches us how wise our bodies are. So the more we use supplements, and I'll talk about supplements, which ones you can use, the more we use coffee or lean on things like that in a water fast, we kind of mute that intelligence. We sort of sway the intelligence a little bit. So if you can do it without coffee, great. If you're going to do coffee and you want to do a water fast, I would just do black coffee or black tea or green tea. Like this would not be a time to put cream in it. So that would be the first thing I would say. Okay. The other way I like to do a 3 day water fast is start on the first day, Monday. We usually do all our fasting in the resetter group from Monday through Friday. So you on Monday would do either fast mimicking or autophagy fasting as you would go in doing that one day, and then you would do 3 days of water fasting, and then you come out of your fast with autophagy fasting or fast mimicking. I have done videos on those 2 different types of fasts. We have a video called the 7 different types of fasts. You can go watch those. I'm not going to go into those details. I want to keep this really about water fasting. But that is one way to go into a water fast and to come out of a water fast. Now, what can you expect with water fasting? Typically, I find that the first day is kind of exciting. It's a little thrilling. At the end of the first day, you might be a little bit like, oh my gosh, this isn't so much fun. So I always recommend you go to bed early. Usually when you wake up the next morning, people usually feel good in the morning. And then as the day goes on, day 2 can be very difficult. And then when you wake up on day 3, a lot of people, there's mixed results on day 3. Some people start to feel those stem cells kicking in and they feel better. Some people struggle on day 3 a bit as well. It depends on what kind of faster you are. What I find is that if most people can hang in there till the end of the 3rd day, and then go to bed that night, when you wake up on the 4th day, a lot of people will just continue on fasting. There is a point where the first three days are kind of up and down, but if you stick it with it, then on day 4 and 5, your ketones are really giving you such mental clarity, they're giving you energy, and you can feel incredible. So if you get, as we go through this together next week, if you get really, you're feeling high and great on day 3, keep on going. You can keep on going and ask the question here on the community page. I'll be here to support you. My team will be here to support you through the process next week. So that's how I do 3 to 5 day water. I think the most important thing is that if you want to go into the fast the most prepared, I would encourage you to start to elongate some of your fasts right now. Like I've been doing 24-hour fasts this week, just knowing that we're going to go into this water fast next week. So I've been really pushing that 24-hour fast. So my body's just going, it'll be going from 1 meal a day to no meals a day. So it just kind of gets used to it. The second thing I would encourage you to do is start upping your good fat. So good fat will stabilize your blood sugar so that when you go into the water fast, your blood sugar is a little more prepared. I have seen people decide that all of a sudden out of nowhere, they're gonna they've been eating junk and then they go into a 3-day water fast. You can do that, but it may not be, you may not enjoy it. So it might be tough those first couple of days. So when you come out of the fast, breaking the fast, I think it's really important that, especially if you've gone 3 days, the first thing I would tell you is don't break a fast with meat. So meat is really hard on the body to digest. I usually encourage people to break a fast with broth, bone broth, vegetable broth, and then maybe some steamed vegetables. Sometimes I'll break it with some kombucha because you have created all those stem cells in the gut, and your gut is like a blank slate, and so you can put some good probiotic rich food in there. Sometimes I'll break it with sauerkraut. So vegetables, steamed vegetables, broths, kombucha, one of our favorite in our household is a coconut nectar kefir yogurt. That will break our fast with that a lot of times. So and share, on our page here, when you go to break your fast, share on the community page what you're breaking it with. Or if you're in the Resetter group on Facebook, share in there what you're breaking with, going to break it with. Because this is how we learn as a community. So, okay, so that's option 1. Let me finish one other thought here that's really, really important. When you do a 3-day water fast or longer, I would not enter into that without a blood sugar reader. You gotta have either a Ketomojo is our favorite. We'll put a link in here. The reason it's our favorite is because the strips are the cheapest, and it's easy to use. So if you have a Ketomojo, some of you have a Precision blood sugar and ketone reader. When you do a water fast, I always do 3 readings a day. I do first thing when I get up, I do midday, and I do about 8 o'clock at night. It's really fun to start to see your blood sugar will start to drop and you start to see your ketones go up. So it's just, you'll see what your body's doing. I did a 5-day water fast one time with a Dexcom on me, which is a continuous reader. That was super interesting to watch what my blood sugar did without food. So don't enter into a longer fast without knowing your numbers. To me, the unsafe numbers are when your blood sugar starts getting into the 40s, even into the 50s. If you're not being personally coached by a doctor, or you have somebody who's personally monitoring you that knows about fasting, those are moments that you're going to want to, sometimes if people's blood sugar gets like in that 40s mark, I'll have them just take a scoop of nut butter or a little bit of an avocado just to gently bring the blood sugar up and kind of keep the body sustained. But if it starts getting below 40, you got to break the fast. I mean, we've seen, the only time that we've seen we have 20,000 people in our resetter group that we have been guiding through fasts. And there has only been 2 times that we have seen somebody harmed, or they harmed themselves. The first is when they didn't do the blood sugar reader. So they don't even know what their numbers are. And the second is when they did do the blood sugar reader and it was showing low numbers, but in their educated brain, they wanted to push on through and go longer, and they ended up passing out and hitting their head. So please don't do that. Be safe and sensible about this. Your body was born to fast. You just got to just be gentle and light about this. This is not a push through moment, okay? There will be moments where you might feel a little discomfort, but that's what that meter's there for. Look at your blood sugar. If you're feeling discomfort and you're at 70, that's not bad. Your blood sugar's at 70, you're going to be fine. The other number we're looking for are ketones, and we would like to see your ketones, or I want you to monitor yourself. The ketones, once you go over 0.5, you're in ketosis. If you start getting over 7.0 in ketones, or 6 point, you start getting in between that 6.0, 7.0 range, and you're feeling bad, then that you need to also break the fast. So those are my edges. Okay, let's just say, just for clarity, let's say 7.0 in ketones, and I would say around 45 in blood sugar. And I know in Europe and other places that there is a conversion for that blood sugar, and we'll be posting about what that conversion is. So if you're looking at this going, I don't know what you're talking about, they do a different measurement. We do, I think we're the ones here in America that do the different measurement. I don't know why. So anyway, so there is water fast. Okay, what if you're like, hey, I'm kind of intrigued. This is super cool, but I'm not sure I'm ready to do a water fast. Any of you feel like that? Put it in the comment section, because I know there's a lot of you. So you could try doing bone broth. You could do bone broth for a while and see how that works. The problem with bone broth is that because it's higher in protein, it doesn't totally let you get into autophagy. So you need to keep your protein under 20 grams, your animal protein, to be able to stimulate autophagy. So if you're doing 5-6 cups of bone broth, you may be keeping your blood sugar down. You might be able to lose some weight, but you're not getting the detox effects of autophagy. So, but having said that, if you need to lean into a cup of bone broth, I'd rather, this is why we call it fast training week. I'd rather you kind of experiment with these pieces than just say, I'm not going to be able to do it. Okay, so option 2 is you can do a 3 to 5 day bone broth fast. Systemic Formula is my favorite supplement company, because they are the only supplement company that I know that fully tests for heavy metals and pesticides and other junk that's in supplements. They have created something called a Ketabo shake, and it's meant to mimic, I didn't have any here to show you, it's meant to mimic Fast Mimicking Diet. So the protein is low. 2 scoops of the Ketabo shake, or do 2 smoothies of this Ketabo shake, just water and the powder and some ice, and that would keep your blood sugar down and keep you in autophagy. So that's a second option. We'll put a link for Ketabo shake in here. It tastes really yummy too. We call it birthday cake in my office. It tastes like birthday cake. So, okay, so those are your 2 options for fast training week. There's the kind of completes the conversation. If you're watching this, months down the road, it completes the conversation of what are your options when you're looking at liquid fasts. I'm not a fan of vegetable juice fasting. Definitely not a fan of fruit juice fasting, any kind of fruit juice, because you're not allowing that blood sugar to get low enough. Okay, one more thing I want to address, because we get this question a lot, and then we're going to open it up for questions. What about supplements? What supplements should you be taking? Again, I'm going to go back to what I said about coffee, that if you can, I would encourage you to just kind of allow innate intelligence to do its job. And that might mean you got to sleep a little more. One of the tricks to water fasting is that you just keep busy or you go to sleep. So I find I take naps a lot, I go to bed early, I watch movies, like anything to get your mind off of wanting to eat, because it's a mental game. So, but if you are going to do some supplements, there are some that can help you. So my favorite for fasting is this product right here called Fastonic. So I want you to think about your cells for a moment. What's happening is that when you're in a fasted state, the cells are starting to spit off a lot of free radicals, a lot of toxins that have been stored up inside of there. And so what Fastonic does, it's hydrogen. Water pulls hydrogen out of there, these little tablets, and you basically put them in water. It looks like a little bit like Alka-Seltzer, and you drink it. And it puts hydrogen into the cell and helps the cell out in this detoxifying process. I can't tell you the number of people in my academy, in my resetter group, that tell us, you know what, this is the game changer for making your fast less miserable, especially if it's your first time. I have patients that call it their Fastonic snack, that when it's like 3 o'clock, they're like, oh, I'm going to have my Fastonic snack, which is just basically this tablet inside water. But it kind of tricks the mind into, oh, I get something special. So I do like Fastonic. We'll put a link for it. I also, if you're having really strong detox reactions, I like Bind. I will recommend that you do 2 Bind at night, because as the body is spitting these toxins off, Bind is activated charcoal, and it'll bind to the toxins and get them out your stool. So, and yeah, you will, believe it or not, you're not eating, many of you will still have bowel movements. It's kind of crazy. Makes you realize how much is stored in there. And then I do like Cytodetox for neurotoxic symptoms. So you can do that on a fast. Neurotoxic symptoms are like headaches, agitation, trouble sleeping, those kind of things. A lot of people say, oh, I taste like a metal taste in my mouth when they fast. That's where Cytodetox can come in. And then I will add one more thing, because this shows up a lot. People ask about exogenous ketones. So again, typically I'm a fan of just letting the body do what it needs to do. But one of the questions I have here is that somebody who has trouble, and I hear this in lots of variations, if you're having trouble getting into, you can't get past 36 hours and you've tried everything, sometimes a scoop of some exogenous ketones, it's a powder, we call this tastes like bubble gum. There's no flavors in it or anything, it's just that's what it tastes, will help you get into ketosis a little deeper, so that your body can start to get the process. It's like speeding up the process. So those of you that struggle to get into ketosis, even on water fasts, I recommend, this is the one I recommend by Systemic Formulas. Again, we'll put the link in there. Okay, before I open it up for those of you that are live, let me just answer 3 questions from people who asked on our community page. Floria M says that whenever she does a water fast, she gets terrible kidney pain on day 3. That can last for weeks afterwards. My first thought is, are you drinking enough water, and are you doing sea salt water? So if you get any heart palpitations, kidney pain, a lot of times that can just be a mineral deficiency, and you need minerals as you go through this process. So sea salt is a great thing to add in. So make sure that you're doing it. I've had people do like 3 glasses of, just a teaspoon of sea salt in some water. I've had people do a couple of glasses of that throughout the day. Some people take mineral supplements. That might be of help. The other thing I thought of, Floria, was the Fastonic might help you as well. So, okay. So I hope that helps. She's on there. She has a question.
We have a question from the Reset Academy membership group.
Okay.
Marianne wants to know, she's done fast before, and she wants to know about not losing weight in a water fast? Any strategies around
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
She's just doing it for stem cell generation.
Yeah, so here's what I would say. Marianne from our academy wanted to know if, how do you not lose weight in a water fast? So all you're losing in a water fast weight-wise is water weight. That's it. You may be losing some fat, you might be losing some water weight, but you're not losing muscle. So that's the first myth that I hear so many people, that they think they're losing muscle. I sat in a room with Dominic D'Agostino, who is the researcher behind so much of this, and he's like, you do not lose muscle. So know that. So even though it feels like you're losing weight, usually it's just water weight. Now, having said that, something really cool, Marianne, that I do for myself is when you come out of a water fast, one thing that you can do is that you can actually start to do a protein load because you'll build muscle. So do your water fast, break it with like a fast mimicking diet for a day where you're not doing animal protein. Once you feel like you're doing better, then all of a sudden I would protein load 2-3 days, 150 grams of protein a day, and just power up mTOR, power up the mitochondria, and you'll actually, if you do that, notice over time how much you can build muscle. So that's something to think about. Okay. Other questions that were posted on the community page were about supplements. Rocket Scientist 66 asked about supplements, so I hope that helps you. Let me see what else Rocket Scientist said. If you're feeling, I don't know if woman, man, feeling dizzy, shaky, and almost broke in the middle of the night of a fast, trouble sleeping in a fast. Yeah, that's, oh, Victoria, I see your name here. That can happen. I actually find I need less sleep when I fast. So that is quite possible. You got to just kind of go with it. If you have an Oura ring, I love looking at my sleep patterns because I find that even though I require less sleep, I end up getting deeper sleep and my heart rate variability really goes up in a fast, which is cool. But I would tell you to try the routine I just told you here and see, oh, Victoria's lost over 60 pounds doing intermittent fasting. That's super cool. But yeah, you might, she's asking about mineral deficiency. You might need to have more minerals. That's very possible. So let me know if Victoria, let me know if my supplement answered your question. Let me know if my supplement answered your question. If not, make sure you ask it in here and we'll get it for you. Okay, and then last one, and then I'll open it up for you guys. Oh, there's two more. One is Hashimoto's following. Is it possible to get Hashimoto's following a keto diet? This is a really good question. What I see a lot with people is that we get so excited about the principles of keto and fasting. But what I want you to realize is this isn't like Weight Watchers. This isn't like Jenny Craig or some fancy diet. The keto and healing diet is the keto and fasting, autophagy, all these principles is healing. And when your body starts to self-detoxify, a lot of times things like heavy metals will show up. Heavy metals are at the root cause of so many problems, but especially hormonal and thyroid problems. So if you got Hashimoto's after a keto diet, it's possible that you detoxed either too quickly or your body just revealed the neurotoxic load that you've been carrying, and those neurotoxins are now stimulating a Hashimoto's experience. So don't get locked into the diagnosis because it may be quite possible or quite temporary. So make sure you go back and watch my videos on heavy metals so you understand that. I also am a fan of this. I want you all to create a fasting lifestyle. This is not something that you jump into aggressively. Let's just play. This is why I like Fast Training Week. Like, play with the principles, get used to them, kind of understand them. Like, we were not made to eat 6 meals a day. We were made to have an eating window and a fasting window, and that's what these things will help you do. So that's my thought on Hashimoto's, is that it could be like a temporary diagnosis. Genes do get turned on and off quite easily as your body heals. Mostly they get turned off. So look at your toxic load. And then Christina had a great question about mentally preparing for a fast And yes, it's a mental game. So what I'm going to be doing in my resetter group, and then I'll post it here on YouTube because I know a lot of you aren't on Facebook. I'm bringing on a life coach on this Monday night, and she is going to walk us through the mental game of fasting. So when I do a fast training week, I do a video every night, and I do a post every morning for 5 days to keep you guys focused and keep you on track. So if here on YouTube, look for those posts on the community page. And if I do a video on any other platform than this one, I will put it in a playlist under Fast Training Week here so you guys can have access to that. But yeah, it's a mental game, and she's going to give us some clues. I think what I hear a lot from patients is that we get so much satisfaction in eating. And when you take that food away, where are you going to go find that satisfaction? So part of what I do when I fast is I really keep myself busy. But if you do this and then your mind is preoccupied, if you do this often, realize is they feel better when they don't eat. And that's what, I mean, all get to that point. We could really heal the world. Food is yummy. Fasting is amazing too. I've been doing these principles for about 5 years now, and I'll tell you, I enjoy both. Like I get a high from both. I love not eating and I love eating. So that's what I want to teach you guys here. Okay, with that, I'll open it up for those of you that are live.
Okay, we have people again all over the world. I saw Scotland,
awesome,
Puerto
welcome.
Rico, all the states.
Awesome.
So you answered the question about underweight. So that's
yeah.
somebody else has.
Yeah, and I did it. You guys, I did a video. Go back and watch. I did a video on how to build muscle when you're fasting because there's some tricks that you can do. I've got a lot of Spartan racers as patients, and we've been like have them go race, and then we do protein load day following, and then we do some fasting. So this is why I love the variation. We can just mix this up and have so much flexibility depending on what you're trying to create. So.
Let's see. People don't know where to find the Ketabo shake.
Okay, as soon as I get done here, my team will go in and put a link for Ketabo shake where you can get it. I'll tell you right now, if you're watching live, it's on revelationhealth.com, and it's called Ketabo shake. And if you put my last name in, they will give you 10% off your first order. They've been so gracious to my community. So if you want to, if you're like, I got to order it now, go to revelationhealth.com, put in Pelz as in the coupon code, you'll get 10% off, and you can get Ketabo shake. Everything I showed you here, you can get there. So.
Okay. Somebody's going to go to the carnivore diet. And they want to know about potassium and magnesium levels.
Yeah, the carnivore diet, here's what I'm going to say. This is why I love variation. There are benefits to the carnivore diet. And if all you do is the carnivore diet, you're right. I mean, how are you going to feed your microbiome? You need to have vegetables to feed your microbiome. We are 89% of our body is bacteria. So I put people on a carnivore diet when we're really trying to attack SIBO because we want to kill off all the bacteria, that's the good and the bad in the gut. So I would recommend that if you go on the carnivore diet, do it temporarily or mix it into your variation. If you don't know what I'm talking about variation, go watch my video from yesterday on varying all these different strategies. But you would be smart to add in some minerals and vitamins, maybe even a probiotic while you're on the carnivore diet. So, and I would encourage you to think about varying it with other things.
Okay. People getting good results.
Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing your results. It lights up my day. I mean, why I do these videos is to get this message out to people. One of the things I love about, and even just the variation, is you don't have to have the richest person in the room. You don't even have to have time to do it. It takes all socioeconomic barriers away. It takes all time barriers away. If we could just get the whole world understanding this concept that the body heals when it fasts, we could change the health of this world. So thank you for, when you share your good results, not only does it touch me, it touches my staff, and then people go in onto my channel and they get to see, wow, this stuff really works. It's so cool. So thank you, and congrats. It's awesome.
Great. Jackie wants to know, she's been struggling to do any kind of water fast, like day or longer.
Okay.
She's been doing keto and intermittent fasting.
Okay.
I think you gave
So
her
yeah,
some tips
so
on the fast
yeah,
diet.
so Jackie wants to know if she's been struggling doing a water fast. Okay, let me give you a couple ideas. One is maybe what you do if a day has been the hardest, maybe what you do is this time you go in one full day with just doing water. And then go to bed that night, you're struggling, go to bed, get up the next morning, and then try maybe that day is a bone broth day, or that day is a Ketabo shake day. So your mind knows there's something coming, it's gonna raise your blood sugar a little bit, so see if that, and then if you feel better, you might then the next day try a water fast. So play with the fact that you could go, just because you decide to do bone broth or just because you decide to do Ketabo shake doesn't mean that the fast is over. You could do it for a little bit. I've had people do a scoop of nut butter when they're feeling really bad, and then all of a sudden they go back into another 36, 48 hours of fasting. So you can kind of slide some things in and then go back and fast a little more. Try the Fastonic. I think that will really help, and then you could try the exogenous ketones. Those would be, for those of you struggling to get past 24 hours, these would be my two go-to for you. So.
Okay. So, I mean, there are some people that are saying, are there things to watch with eating disorders around fasting? Mental health issues?
Yeah, so let me talk about eating disorders for a minute. For starters, I'm just going to tell you, eating disorders is not my specialty. So what I'm teaching you here is the principle of fasting. So if you are concerned because you have an eating disorder, then hopefully you're being coached by somebody, or you have an authority or an expert that can help you, and you might want to let them know that you're thinking of doing this process. The second thing I would tell you, I hear this a lot where people are like, I'm so fearful of boomeranging. So what I would do for you is I would have you just dip your toe in. So have you done intermittent fasting? Start there. Maybe you just need to do, through this experience, you just need to do intermittent fasting and start with that as your go-to. 15 hours, maybe this week all you do is 15 hours. If you're like, well, I've been doing intermittent fasting, maybe this week all you do is 20 hours. Just start to push your fasting window, start to create a longer fasting window slower than just diving in and going 3 days without food and then boomeranging back. I do that with adrenal fatigue people too. Just kind of ease your body into it, and then the more you play with it, I've had so many people come to me and go, I cannot get rid of sugar for the life of me. And then we just, we kind of slowly push the edge of the fasting window out a little bit. We compress the eating, we work on the quality of the food, and things will change. So with eating disorders, you just really want to try to avoid the boomerang and the back and forth. So just ease into it. So, or if you're going to do it, be coached by somebody who is familiar with you.
Some people saying if they don't have the Ketomojo, thinking about the ketone strips, but also there's the blood sugar readers, which are cheaper.
Yeah. Like blood sugar, like urine strips are not my favorite. So blood sugar reader, other kinds like you can get at your local drugstore, those are great. I'm not partial. I just because the ketone strips are cheaper. So.
Okay.
But the urine strips are not helpful, so I wouldn't rely on those.
So, let's see. Somebody gained weight after a 21-hour fast. Okay,
this is a great question. Weight after a fast. So, the first thing I would tell you is that it's a sign that your detox pathways are not open. So the body, it's like your body's spitting out toxins, but you're holding on to those toxins and not getting rid of them. So this is where you want to sweat. You want to make sure you're sweating. You want to make sure an infrared sauna, if you have access to that, would be amazing. This is where I recommend people do coffee enemas. You got to do something to open up those pathways. And movement, getting out and moving around. My favorite are infrared sauna and coffee enemas for opening things up. So Yeah, that all it means is your pathways aren't open.
Okay. We're going to put the names of the supplements you brought up earlier.
Yep.
But you want to talk about minerals if you can't get the supplements, you got the salt.
Yeah, you can do sea salt and in couples, do a teaspoon in water, and you can do it a couple times a day. That would be fine. When I fast, I always look for those heart palpitations. If my heart starts feeling like it's pounding or I get really dizzy, I'll do more sea salt. Or you can do a mineral supplement. My favorite mineral supplement is called Min, M-I-N, and you can find that on revelationhealth.com as well.
Okay, somebody is drinking flavored sparkling water during the fast.
Yeah, okay, so this is a good point about sparkling water, teas, peak teas, things like that. So I think when you're first learning these, those are kind of nice. I did that for sure. And it's like, something that's like the Fastonic snack. Like it's something to just kind of ease into, which is great. But if you really are trying to create a deep healing response, you want to be as pure as possible. So those of you that are maybe you're doing this because you might have cancer, or you're doing this because you're severely weight loss resistant, and maybe you haven't been getting a result and you're fasting, then I recommend you got to get pure. You got to go water. You got to just stick with water, basically. If you're like, hey, I'm just doing this for prevention, I want some stem cell production, I want to see how I feel, then those kind of sparkly waters without any sugar in them, some teas, peak teas, things like that will be okay. So no Diet Coke. We've been asked about Diet Coke. That's a chemical. You don't want anything with chemicals inside of you. Where this should be a chemical this should be detoxing chemicals. So.
Okay. Let's see. Some just comments. I'm just going through comments. So a question about menopause, maybe just refer to the video.
So let me throw this out there, that when should you not fast? Or when is the hardest time to fast? So if you're a woman who has a cycle, or you're a perimenopausal woman who the cycle comes every once in a while, the worst time to fast is the week before your cycle. You will struggle the most. I have been practicing. Go watch my video on variation. I've done a bunch of videos on how women should fast. But it can really be difficult if it's when your body's trying to make progesterone. If you're taking food out of the equation, that progesterone will tank. You'll be craving food. You'll be anxious. So know the week before, day 21 until the day you bleed, is the worst time to fast. Okay? Postmenopausal. If you don't have a cycle, you and men and postmenopausal women can fast anytime. It doesn't matter. Now, I made some recommendations on yesterday's video, so go watch that, on different ways that you can that you should cycle in some hormone building days for postmenopausal women. But fast away, you guys can do it anytime. And there's no variation that you need to do. Just pick your 3 days, 5 days, and go.
Okay.
So.
Is it bad to fast before you get blood work done?
Interesting question. Okay, so is it bad to fast before you get blood work done? I have seen different things. I mean, it depends what kind of blood work. So I have a patient that I've been coaching through a leukemia diagnosis, and we found that his white blood cell count, which is a number we really look at, was all over the place if he went and had his blood work done when he's fasting. So that, just know, if you're just going for a general checkup, not a problem. But I have seen, I have seen numbers get really tweaked if you're looking for something in the immune system, especially the white blood cell count. There's something called Gilbert's syndrome or Gilbert syndrome, where you're missing a gene to help you break down bilirubin when you fast, and so the bilirubin can show up high. So if you know you have that syndrome, your bilirubin numbers may be really high when you fast.
What kind of water? Distilled water?
Yeah, the cleanest water that you can get, the better. The cleaner, the better.
If you have distilled water, you need to supplement with minerals more.
Yeah, if you have a reverse osmosis water, you're going to need to supplement with a mineral supplement because reverse osmosis pulls a lot of the minerals out, as does distilled water if you're buying that. So just be aware that you might need to do more sea salt. You might need to do more mineral supplements.
Fasting with a heart condition, you should probably consult your
Yeah,
doctor.
if you got a like serious condition like a heart condition, this is where I wish I could say, well, what you should do is go and talk to your medical doctor and let he or she know. I wish many medical doctors are totally in the dark on fasting, especially around things like diabetes. But they're waking up. People are starting to understand. So if you can have a really good conversation with them and just kind of let them know, that's important. But yeah, those are the kind of the moments you need to involve your primary care doctor. So, cool. Okay, you guys are awesome. And stay tuned next week. I'm going to be here on my channel a whole bunch helping you through this fast. So make sure you turn on the notification button so that you get notified. And let me know what you want to know about. So put it in the comments and I'll make sure I do videos on it. So welcome to everybody new and happy fasting, everyone.